NRIs.
Yes.
And this is a story of NRIs making money, and not just making money, Krishna, sending it back home.
I mean, the story is one of the happier stories this morning, because let's bear in mind, NRIs sending money back home is not new. It's the raison d'etre why most Indians go and become, most resident Indians go and become non-resident Indians. Then they want to send money back home. But the fact of the matter is that entire process was stuck during the pandemic. And obviously, because people were looking out for their own jobs and their job security and their finances, it was a terrible time. So for financial year 2021, it had become completely stuck. It wasn't growing. But what has happened with financial year 2022-23, which just recently concluded, is that those remittances, Shweta, are up 26% to over $100 billion, over $110 billion. Let me just quickly take you through these numbers, which are interesting. Fy23, financial year 2023 remittances to India. Remittance to India, by that we mean personal transfers by NRIs to their families back home in India. That is up 26%. That's what we mean by remittances up 26% to $112.5 billion. And of course, this has all been backed by the fact that, Shweta, there has been a great demand for Indian professionals, all kinds of Indian professionals. We already know the number of Indian CEOs of global MNCs. But it is not just about the CEOs, but it's about professionals at all level really being in demand. So they're earning in dollars, they're earning in euros, they're earning in dirhams, you name it. They're earning in all kinds of international currency, and that's the reason why you're seeing one of the reasons why you're seeing this increased remittances. Apart from the fact that FY 2021 wasn't all that great, sustained and fast-paced increase in personal transfers. Because of all that I'm talking about, we're out of the pandemic, there's more job security, more Indians getting jobs across the world, all that auguring well when it comes to sending money back home. Why not? And this is important because this had to be back. This is one of those things that couldn't have possibly dipped. The only reason why it dipped was because there was a pandemic going on. And you compare this is money being sent on a personal capacity by Indians not residing in India to their family over here. In an official capacity, when it comes to companies pumping money into India, which is called FDI, foreign direct investment, that is now down to just $70 odd billion from $84 odd billion. So for the last financial year, foreign direct investment is just about $70 billion, whereas personal money transfers by non-resident Indians to resident Indians is over $110 billion. That is a very telling statistic, Shweta, isn't it? And the fact
very telling. Absolutely. What does it tell you? It tells you that Indian resources are perhaps better than Indian infrastructure, if that is the right comparison
talent,
to make.
Nothing
Indian
matches.
talent, nothing beats Indian talent.
Nothing beats Indian talent, nothing beats Indian minds, Indian intelligence, Indians' adaptability. If so many Indians are in demand as professionals across the world, it means so many Indians have to go to some of the far-flung parts of the world, work there in completely unfamiliar surroundings at a time when the global economy is on the boil. This just talks about the average Indian's ability to be adaptable, resourceful, intelligent,
one of the best talents out there. Let's
absolutely.
quickly get in Avijit, who wants to come in here. Avijit.
Yeah. I have, this putting these figures in perspective. I have done a small, back of the envelope calculations, and if you take this in rupee terms, the remittances amount to 9.33 lakh crore, right, last year. Now, what does it mean? It is 1.35 times the entire budget for this financial year for our largest state, Uttar Pradesh. It's 1.7 times the budget of the Maharashtra government, 2.55 times the budget of Tamil Nadu government, 2.85 times the budget of Karnataka government, and 3.45 times the budget of the Gujarat government. All these, are our front-running states.
I'm surprised you didn't include the West Bengal government, West Bengal economy figures in this.
2.75 times.
2.75 times. There you go. 2.75 for West Bengal, 2.8 for Karnataka. Fantastic numbers, Avijit. What also did you also notice? I want to ask you. Did you see this in FY21? For FY21, if you see where those remittances came from, Shweta and Avijit, overwhelming, more than 23 50% of the remittances come in from the USA. That's number one top, as far as remittances into India is concerned. Number two is UK. And then you have UAE, then you have Singapore, and then you have Saudi. That literally tells you that, as far as UAE and Saudi are concerned, where that money is going into. It's going into Kerala, largely speaking, overwhelming part of the money from UAE and Saudi Arabia. But as far as the rest of the countries are concerned, USA, UK, and Singapore, that's a good, nice Cosmo mix. All kinds of Indians go to USA, UK, and in fact, as Singapore as well. Avijit, that trend, that is not going to change anytime soon, isn't it? These numbers can go up and down, but the contribution of remittances by these countries are going to remain the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think the relative share is not going to go down, at least in the near or medium term. But, there is another study which I think that we don't have that yet. But if we could have, is that how much of this 9.33 lakh crore rupees came state-wise. I think that's a very interesting topic.
Absolutely.
That one can, perhaps a number crunching, that one can do actually.
Another
point to note in terms of remittances, India is perhaps the only country, perhaps the unicorn remittance country, because $100 billion, no other country I think has achieved.
All right.
So, fair enough. We'll have to
those
look
are
at
interesting numbers.
Avijit, I will try to get those figures next time we have a chat. I think that should make for a very interesting conversation as well.
Absolutely.